Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Nick Baldwin, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing a really special guest. This guy has been ranked as the number 9 agent or team in the country for homes sold. He will sell over 250 million in real estate this year. He owns 100 rental properties, and personally, he's going to transact over 200 acquisitions just this year alone. And he has a brand new course that he's partnering with Jason Abrams on, as well as Gary Keller. And that course is called KW Wealth. And I'd love to introduce to you Brett Tanner. What's going on, Brett?
Hey, Nick, thanks for having me. Amazing intro. Most important part of my intro, I like to think I'm a cool dude, but very kind. Thanks for that.
Nice guy all around, super cool dude. That is on your business card, I think.
Oh, super grateful to be hanging out with you, and I love what you do for the agent community. So thanks for all you do.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But this is about you, so let's jump right into it. KW Wealth is a new class that you're working on. Tell everybody a little bit about what that entails.
Yeah. So I look back at my career. I've been licensed now for 17 years, So I got in like before it got really good. And then I got in 2005 and then it got really, really hard. And so I got my license actually because I was an investor. So I came to the business backwards, right? I got my license just to do my own deals. And I looked at people that were really, really wealthy and they were investors, right? They were owning real estate, owning debt, and all the varieties of real estate. There's a lot of different investments inside of it. So over the last 17 years as an agent, I've had some bumps and some bruises, and I learned a few things. And I've been able to use my real estate business to create massive, massive wealth. And I feel really passionate about helping agents do that because most agents, as you know, they get really busy helping buyers and sellers, and they don't spend the time to help themselves build wealth. And yet they have access to the deals, they have deal flow, and they could do it. And so I was having this discussion with Jason, I was with Gary, and Gary's very passionate about agents being really, really wealthy. Like it's his passion project. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'd love to roll this out at Keller Williams. It's a new segment, and I want to start teaching it there. I'd love to just teach what I'm doing. Everyone can do it. I'm not that smart of a guy. And so anyone can do it. And so that's where we came together, and we've got our first class coming up really, really soon here.
I love that. So we hear the word wealth a lot. We hear wealthy. We also hear the word rich. And I think that there is a major difference between the two. But what do you think the major difference is between being wealthy or having wealth and being rich?
It's a really great question. I think being rich is I can go buy the Lambo, right? I can go buy the Ferrari. And I think being wealthy is that your passive income could buy as many Ferraris as you want. Wow. Like I just think, because most agents that are successful, they can go buy a Lambo, right? It's just not my thing. But I think when you're wealthy, I also think rich is for you. And I think wealth is generational.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And all you need is that analogy, really. It's perfect. So you mentioned, investing, and I've noticed that a lot of agents don't invest in the product that they're selling. Why do you think that is?
So I think it goes back to they get busy and they get helping an investor, they help a client, and then, I've got this investor doing this flip. And I just think you get this agent hat locked on, and the investor hat's different, right? And so because of the way I entered the business, I went on every listing appointment asking, how do I buy this? Right? Not how do I list it? I was like, hey, I'll just buy it. Like, would you sell it at this price? Like, no, I need this price. Okay, I'll list it. So it's funny, like we have a deal hierarchy, right? The things that the first goal when I go on a listing, or my agents do today, I've been a listing for a long time, but can we buy it for the company? Secondly, can we control it, right? Can we, buy it as a rent? Can we buy it and do something with it? Can we control the contract? Can we control the real estate? Take it over? How do we get there? And the next thing is, all right, can I wholesale it, or can I flip it? Or can I do something? I go down this list and I get to the very end. The last thing on my list is, can I list it? So I've got these 7 different things we go through. So like the old list to last, bit, I think I really do try to list a home last. Like I'm looking to buy great real estate. So that's been and I think that if agents have that, so I think number one, they go with the wrong hat. I think number two, they lack real training from people that are actually doing it, right? There's all these armchair gurus these days that they talk about what they think those that do, right? And they're not around people that are actually doing the doing, right? So anything that I share or do, we pull up case studies. We just open up our world. Here's a case study. Here's a deal. Here's how it was presented. Here's how we monetized it. Here's the returns. Here's the financial returns. And the idea is that someone can go back and they're like, oh, I've seen a deal just like that. Like, I know how to do it now. And so I think that's what's different about when you're actually a practitioner in the game.
Yeah. You said something that resonated with me because it was at family reunion and Gary said on stage, like the big phrase of family reunion was buy dirt, and, that doesn't necessarily mean go buy actual land or dirt. I mean, it means go buy that land, subdivide, sell to investors, or go on a listing appointment and see if it's a house that you should buy for yourself. And you're basically living that. And I think it's awesome that you just said, those who list last, you're like, I actually go in and I think about listing it last. So you're flipping that phrase around, which is awesome. Agents just need to start kind of like flip the way they're thinking about things and not be so literal, So those who do focus on wealth, they seem to be leaving that responsibility in the hands of others, right? Like sharing of revenue, sharing of profit, that to me shouldn't be a wealth stream. It's nice to have it as an additional stream, but why is it not a good long-term plan to depend on just that?
So there's a lot of ways, like in the real estate business, there's 1,000 side hustles we can all do, right? Like you can from sharing revenue to opening a painting business, the construction, but those are operational businesses, right? Those are, you got to go, it's ordinary and I got to go do stuff, or it's in someone else's control. So I think when you think about wealth building, you're building assets that, number one, create cash flow. Number two, you could sell when you want. Like if you want to go sell them. Number three, you can leverage them with debt in some other format. And so the difference is just you're in total control of it. And so the way I always talk to people about it is, if you go to the stock market, Nick, if you and I were like, and we had a tip from somebody, we knew like, hey, tomorrow Tesla's going to unleash autopilot and they're going to control the world. And we go buy the stock and it goes from $600 today where it's at to 1,200. And you and I make $2 million. We both go to prison, right? That's insider trading. It's totally illegal, right? So in real estate, if you and I go and we have someone that wants to sell their home on 123 Main Street, we know what we can buy it for. And we know what we can sell it for, and we know what the rehab cost is, and we know that we'll make 50 grand. And we go do that. You know what happens? People clap. You're like, hey, great job. You did it. And so in the stock market, you go to prison. In the real estate business, you're applauded. And yet so few agents do it. And so why not use the knowledge that you have, that every agent that's watching this or every real estate agent out there is an expert in their market. Like they know what the home they can buy it for, they can sell it for, and they know the construction. And so they just fail to act, right? And so if they have the information, it costs nothing to run an analysis on a property. So when you're getting ready to get in this game, why not go, hey, I'm going to run 50 different flips and see the different returns, or I'm going to go look at a good investor in my market and ask if I can just see the numbers. If you start running those numbers 50, 60 times, when a deal comes across your desk, you're going to feel great. Like I know how to take action and I know how to make money on this.
So, we're talking a lot about the different ways that you can do this and build wealth for yourself and invest. But a lot of agents are like, okay, this is great, but where am I going to start? Like, how did you start? And where should, an agent looking to do this essentially just start from?
So, and that's literally what we're going to cover for a day and a half, but I'll give you the short version of the first thing you're going to figure out is, what does it look like when it's done, Nick? So 30 years, I always use the 30-year horizon. And so when we teach it, we say, Nick, I want you to think of the biggest number you could possibly think of 30 years from now that you'd be worth, right? People pick out a number, and we do not let them come to the class with a number less than $50 million. Okay. Like if you come in with a plan of 30 million, we give your money back and send you home. You've got to have at least 50 million. You could come in with 300 million. You can whatever. You've got to have it. And so 30 years from now, and then you have to put where you are today. And then you've got to figure out what would need to happen every year to make that happen. And we give you a format in which to do this. The overwhelming aha, people first are like, I could never do it. I could never do 50 million. And after the exercise, they're like, I can totally do it. Like I've got to buy 3 rentals a year, or I've got to do, they start seeing what's possible. So the first thing is we got to have an end game. And then we've got to have a consistent check-in, right? Are we on or off track? It doesn't matter if you're starting at, already got a $10 million net worth, or you're starting at negative 2 million. It's totally irrelevant. We got to have a measurement tool to know if we're on or off track. And the reason why people aren't wealthy is they got off track for 30 years and then woke up, right? Like the secret to improving any area of your life is daily/monthly awareness. If you have awareness around it, you can make changes, right? You want to lose weight, put a fitness tracker on and start seeing how many steps you got. I mean, it really quickly step on the scale every day, right? There's easy ways to do that. In wealth, it's your net worth, right? Every single month, if it's going like this and you're off track, well, course correct. And you can still hit the long-term goal.
You know, agents, something in there stuck with me. Agents are just the masters of limiting belief. Mm-hmm. The master, like, I don't know any.
My market. It'll never work.
That'll never work. I can't ever do that. Right? Like it's ridiculous. And so if you stop to actually look at it and go through the steps, you know, that 50 million, when you said 50 million, I was like, whoa, right? But you have to think that big. You have to think that big, or else you're just going to be stuck in your own ways. So, all right, you're probably going to cover this too, but where would I find like potential deals? I mean, they're not on the MLS, right? For the most part, but where are they?
So the first thing we teach and we talk to agents about is in your business, if you're the average agent, you're doing 30 to 50 deals a year. I'm just going to go to that.
Yeah.
I believe there's 2 to 4 deals in your world that you're throwing away currently. And we'll just show you how to find those. Like someone called you, it was kind of a nasty house. It's 20 minutes out of your area. Like, oh, it's gross. Well, that's the one, right? Like right. That's the.
I would never list that. It'll never sell.
You hear it all the time, right? They're like, oh, I'm not even going out there. I'm like, that's like the dream. They just said it's gross, got a hole in the roof, it's not financeable, and I need money and it's going to close in 2 weeks and I'm going to bind. And they're like, oh, gross, I don't want to do it. So in their current business, they've already got opportunities. And then we show them how to go direct to seller, right? Like all these iBuyers came out there. Like if you're like, are you in the iBuyer game? Like I was my own iBuyer 10 years ago. This isn't a new idea. Like I was buying homes back then. So as long as you're on it, you can buy homes from your clients. Like if you're my client, the myth is, oh, I have to represent them and they have to get the most money. Well, that's not what everyone wants. The iBuyer model proved that. So I go, Nick, if you put 40 or 50 grand in this house, you can get a lot more money. No question. Do you need money next Tuesday in cash? Well, the options are going to be less, right? Here's my cash offer. I can close in 10 days or I can close as soon as title's ready. So what we're doing is figuring out actually what the consumer needs, which is our job as real estate agents, right? Do they need the most money and they have money to put into it and they can wait on the market? Great. They should do that. 100% of the people should do that. But there are people that say, I don't have the 40 grand and I need money tomorrow. And that's where you're providing a service and a convenience.
Yeah, because everybody's got a reason. And if the reason is, listen, you know, it's not about how much money I can make. It's about, you know, I got to get out of this house for whatever the situation that they're currently in. If you're doing the right kind of, you know, needs analysis on your potential clients, you know, you're going to uncover a lot of stuff. So one last question for you. How are you building wealth right now?
So I started in single family homes, right? Great. We have single family, small multifamily, commercial buildings. My favorite thing right now is debt. So seller financing. So we'll buy a property. We'll put the mortgage out to someone that doesn't meet a conventional buy box, right? They might have great income, but they don't have 2 years, or they might get paid. And, you know, it sounds odd. A lot of people get paid in cash. They make great money, but they cannot qualify for a traditional 30-year fix. So I love carrying the paper, the debt. Standard 30-year mortgage, it's at higher rates, right? So I've been charging 9.9%. I love the debt game. So it's the quietest thing on earth. You have a third-party servicer and a bunch of money just gets ACH in your account every month. But I've also bought rentals that over time, like I love the rental, but this one's not working more. I'm going to sell it. Instead, I'll just sell it seller finance, right? I'll carry that paper back and it gives me basically a better income stream than I had as a rental. And I get it for 30 years with no expenses. So the debt space is where I'd love to play.
I actually lied before. I have one more question.
Oh, I love it.
I have heard that if you're going to invest, I've heard invest for rental purposes and reoccurring income and only flip and sell like if you absolutely need, that money right now. Is that something that you kind of live by?
So here's what we do. So we have a deal, right? Every deal comes in and we're going to analyze the deal for its highest and best use, right? So like, depending on your goals, my goal is I want a seller finance house, right? So some of the math doesn't work on every house. So then I'm like, I'd like to keep it as a rental, but some like, well, I'm buying it at 450. The rent's 2,800. As a rental, this doesn't actually make sense. So then it's like, well, the highest and best use of this deal is I could flip it and make 80 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it was a dream flip and a dream rental, depending on your goals, I think you go rental, right? Like for me. But for some people that are maybe earlier trying to build cash, hey, they might go, hey, I'm going to flip three, hold one, flip three, hold one. So I think it all depends. That's why we start with your 30-year plan. Like, what's your plan called for? Your plan called for, like, and I'm just using you. Hey, your plan called for buying 4 rentals a year. Well, do you have the cash to do that? And some people might say, well, no. Well, but if you flip 3 homes, would you have the cash to do it? Well, yeah. Cool. Then flip 3 to buy the 4. So like, it's all about marrying up your cash and your income to hit the goal, to get you in the asset classes, to hit your 30-year plan.
Makes a lot of sense. So before we jump off, just kind of tell everybody when the class is, how they can sign up if they want to jump in, and all that good stuff.
So the class is July 21st and 22nd in Austin. It's actually at KWRI. It's at headquarters in the Learning Center. So it's in Austin. It's the 1 to 5 on the 21st, happy hour to follow, 9 to 5 on the 22nd. We are completely capped in this room. We can only have a certain amount of seats. I was joking with you, like there's only so it's like a fire code issue.
Yeah, so it's like 195 people, right?
It's like right at 195, and we are already 100-ish sold. So
wow.
When you get this, I mean, go quick. We'd love to have you.
You're like 50. Wow, that's amazing. 50% sold out. That's awesome. Okay, and there's gonna be. Listen, I think not just the class itself, but the people that are gonna be in that room, right? Like getting it.
Really cool list.
Yeah, networking with these people in that room. Getting to know those people. They're going to be some of the smartest people in the business. And if for anything, get in that room. It's $197, right? That's the price.
$997.
I'm sorry, $997.
$997 for the 2 days. Yep. Come spend the day.
Don't listen to what I said. I don't know. $997, still $1,000 to be in a room with awesome people and to learn how to grow your wealth the right way, generationally, really. That's the way to do it. Well, Brett, thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate it. It was awesome to talk to you. I think everyone's going to get a lot of value from the class. If they don't go to the class, I learned a lot just from this 20-minute conversation. So appreciate it, man. Hope you have a great day and hope the event goes super well.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Really grateful. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. See you soon.
See ya.